Craig Meister here. I usually do not read, but I have a lot of information here to cover. So this day I'm going to quote unquote cheat just a bit so I can get everything in. Well, I have been going to Renaissance fairs since 2002, and I've been to nearly 50 different Renaissance fairs. 50 Renaissance fairs. That was a zero. So to see through the I've had my favorites, and I know others do as well. And sadly, I've seen many disappear in and around Oklahoma in those 20 years, unfortunately. Losing some of them is why I decided to create my flyers in the beginning and put up maps to show people when I was at smaller fairs where to find other Renaissance fairs, and why I eventually started my website to show where they can be found around the whole continent. Because people need to find these wonderful escapes from the rat race. We need these distractions from the craziness of the world to stay sane. So, I would like to impart many things I've learned over the years about running Renfaires so they can continue to flourish and not just go away after the first 3 to 5 years. Many people have opinions, and many have shared them with me, fortunately, and I've physically been on different boards, so I've been able to witness some of these methods and found a lot of these to be successful factors in keeping a fair going. It is not always just having scads of money to throw in an event that makes them successful, nor is it always having just a great location, because sometimes those fairs still collapse, they go down the privy. There are lots of factors that go into them, and let us look at some of the things that can help. So before your fair, these are the pre-fair things that you can do to tweak your event to help ensure it stays around longer. So raising money is a very difficult thing for some events, depending on where you are, what part of the country, the economics of your local area, the sizes of the crowds that you may draw, the size of towns that you are near or in. So a good one I've seen is to host a fireworks stand in the summertime. You can raise large sums of money that way, and also advertise to people at your fireworks stand when people come to get their things that go boom in the night and the day. You can also ask vendors to donate items for auctions throughout the year, the unique things that only they can produce in the booths that people may be interested in, to auction off. You can hold bake sales. You can buy strawberries and Nutella around February 14th, as well as near Mother's Day, to sell them. And one fair I know of used to ask their board members to donate $20 each time they had a meeting to put that money into the fair. Pardon me. You can also use sponsors, gate fees, vendor fees, and grants from the government or school to get a budget, to build a budget and build money to spend. Here you can hire someone to find sponsors. Also, give them a percentage of the sponsor and grant amount that is obtained, so they have an incentive to work hard. You can also keep ticket prices and vendor fees reasonable. You check out what other similar sized and similar aged events in your region are charging, both near and far. There are some events to wind up charging too much money, and it drives customers away. Sometimes events that have been around a long time charge incredible prices for fairs that are much bigger than them and have been around longer, and that drives people, including myself, away from them, from visiting them as many times during the year. So once you get this money, spend 50% of your budget on advertising. Yes, 50. Facebook pages capture current rennies, but you also have to reach out to the general public to get more people coming into the gate to make new rennies. You may contact me with your info. I am happy to help. That is one reason I started my shtick, and I am glad to help when I can and get every event across the country and in Canada onto my website. But non-rennies do not know me unless I tell someone I play sports with or work with or some other friend, they do not know that I do this. Nor do they know anything about other websites that tell where Renaissance fairs are. So you have to go outside of social media. There are many Rennies I tell about Renaissance fairs, and so many of them in Oklahoma think the only event here is the one that goes on at Muskogee. It is not. There's several others. If mundanes or non-Rennies within 20 miles of your event do not know about your event, my website cannot help you, nor can other social media usually. So ways to do so, to reach out to the mundanes. You can visit events and places within a couple months of your event, because people tend to forget with the busy lives. Things like tabbouleh festivals and herb festivals and car shows, not just other Renaissance festivals. Break out, join a Christmas parade or homecoming or graduation parade if they have those in your area. St. Patrick's Day parades would be excellent. Also, rent out billboards. Visit schools, take part in Christmas parades, and visit other fairs and hand out flyers when you're there to tell people where your event is. Perhaps even set up a booth at them. You can also use free radio and television airtime. Each radio and television station is mandated by law to provide free hours during parts of the day to events such as Renaissance fairs and other things. Contact them to find out when and where you can go. So do you not know how to get out and advertise yourself? Here too, you can hire an advertiser, but pay them a percentage of the ticket receipts so they are incentivized to excel in their task. Give them a flat amount just in case of rainy fair days, but replace that with a percentage if the weather is good. So after doing all that, if you still do not have enough money to advertise 50% of your budget, well, it is unnecessary. You can cut your budget in other areas. It is unnecessary to have lots of money spent on entertainment if your event is still growing. You can start with one stage and have maybe 3 acts you rotate through that stage during the day. You can let the performers roam around the fair and busk to make more tip money while they're not there. And you can also augment them with local students from drama and music classes at schools, high schools, junior colleges, and universities. If you can get enough of these other people in regular acts, then you can work up to a second stage. Or perhaps you could even rotate a chess match or a dancing group on one of the 2 stages. You can also contact local schools and talk to their music departments, history departments, drama, English, and art departments for assistance in your fair. Art kids could make backgrounds and signs, maybe perhaps build stages. History groups that could get out and tell history stories from Renaissance times throughout Europe. And drama and music departments, the drama departments, maybe they can perform a Shakespearean play. That would be wonderful. Many people love Shakespeare. And of course, music departments, they could get out and sing old songs from days of yore. You could also contact local scouting troops. They could perhaps earn merit badges for building things and volunteering at your event. But set up volunteer Facebook group pages for your volunteers and incentivize them. Give volunteers a free ticket to the show if you only to your fair. If you only have to give up $8 to $15 for 2 to 8 hours worth of free work, that is a bargain. Huzzah! It's okay, and also avoid using the same date as other Renfaires within 2 to 5 hours of yours. But Meister, 5 hours? Seriously? Aye. While a few patrons will travel 5 hours to attend an event, performers and vendors will drive that far. If they know of another profitable event going on that same weekend, they're apt to choose that one instead of going to a nearby one if they're unsure if they will make much money. Also, when selecting dates, do not pick a date that is in weather that is too hot or too cold. Weather extremes run patrons off, and they will not return if they almost collapse from the heat one year, or mayhaps if they have frozen and cannot stay at the fair more than an hour or two to enjoy everything. If you have few or no patrons, you will not get vendors or performers to return, and then your fair will not return as well. A recent thing I've learned is that some towns or counties require that the area you want to hold your fair on to be properly zoned, even if it is private property, unfortunately. So check with your local government before securing performers and vendors or advertising your event. If you have a large venue but not enough booths and stages to fill it, do not spread them too far apart. You want your fair to look like a medieval village that has attractions somewhat close together. Perhaps you can use the extra space for parking if it is permitted by the landowners. I was at the King's Champion Medieval Fair in Chandler Park in 2010, and we used a lot of the woods, and we were spread very far and thin. It was hard to get back to the back and see things that were going on at the front. It was very thin, unfortunately. As for also regarding the land, do not landlock your event if you want it to grow. If you have to start in a park or on someone's land in the first year or 3, but the event is growing, it is a good thing to start looking for a bigger venue for the event and for parking. Bruce Woods of Twisted Woods Creations and I were on the board for a small Renfest in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma in 2019. It was held by a school, and the first year, the year they had it, they put us on a football field for the site, but there was more land behind it with trees and more parking that we could have moved to had it gotten bigger. And in Broken Arrow, they have a huge park where they hold the Oklahoma Scottish Games that we could have moved to had it grown. Unfortunately, it failed because they held the event on the same weekend as an established medieval fair in the Tulsa metro area, despite Bruce's and my protests, and their advertising was just about this much. So it was only a one-year event and no one showed up. By the way, that Oklahoma Scott Fest has pool parking also. They have to shuttle everyone from a college across the street. So when you're having board meetings, hold them at least quarterly throughout the year until 3 months before fair time. Then hold them monthly at least leading up to the fair, because people organizing things need the information of what is going on, vendors and performers that have been secured through the year, changes that need to be done to the site or have been done to the site. Everyone on the board needs to be informed, lest they feel left out and may not want to return. If you accept too many vendors for the number of patrons you expect, this is unadvisable. If the patrons' money is spread among 50 vendors, I keep going back to 50 for some reason, instead of 25 or 30, each vendor will not make as much money and will not be eager to come back to travel hours and hours to the site in these days when gasoline costs are so high. Patrons develop favorite vendors and performers that they want to see year after year. And if you have too many vendors and some of them do not want to come back, those patrons may come back looking for them and they were gone. You do not want to have that happen. At least try to have 2 of each kind of vendor that sell the same things. That way, if you only have one, they cannot raise their prices too high and make people pay too much money. So that is all the tips I have for now for the for plans leading up to the fair. I will make another video soon on what to do during the fair, the weekend of the fair, and 2 or 3 days leading up to it to prep for it. Gramercy for tuning in. I hope you can make it to Renfaire soon, whether it is now up in Colorado, south of Denver, or up farther north, or on the coasts where it may be cooler. Otherwise, in a couple of months, when it starts to cool off in the Midwest, I do hope you make it to a fair and have an excellent day there. Godspeed to your event, and I hope you have an excellent weekend. Gramercy.